Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, I've mentioned in the past there is a whole another section of currency collecting called national currency. National currency has actually 3 different charters. There's 4 or 5 different actual types of notes. It's almost its whole own universe. You've seen me with books that cover everything, and then I have a specialty book strictly for national currency, and my national currency book has more info in it than most of my other books combined, and that's for almost anything. So yeah, nationals are their own creature, and they can get addictive once you start. So, because there are so many different types, and of course so many different charter numbers, so many different banks, there are just an endless amount of things you can collect with nationals. So I'm going to bring out a national a little later on, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about those. But yeah, don't forget about national currency. All right, there's my 1,000 singles. Let's take a peek at what I found this week. Got quite a few notes this week. Starting off with an alternator. Has 0 as the alternator. 80, 40, 90, 60. Pretty rough, but I thought it was a neat note. Don't think it's worth anything, but I think it looks cool, so I kept it. Have a birthday note. This would be October 8th, 1937, or August 10th, 1937. Yeah, that's going back a ways for a birthday note, but you don't find a whole lot of them. Found some trinaries, 0s, 3s, and 7s. This is 1s, 8s, and 9s. This one, every time I look at it, I see something different, but it's nothing. First of all, it's got writing on it, so it's not really worth anything to begin with. But it is a trinary. It's got 4s, 7s, and 8s. Now, at a glance, it looks like the 7 is an alternator, but the last number is an 8. At another glance, it looks like the 8 is an alternator, but the first number is a 4. It's 47, 87, 87, 48. So if there was ever a one-off, this would be a one-off, and it's one-off of everything. But it's still a trinary, and I will keep it hoping to match the number. Another trinary here. This is 4s, 6s, and 7s. 2s, 4s, and 8s on this one. You want to talk about one-offs? Here we go. It is a trinary, 4s, 5s, and 7s, yes. But it's 7, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5. So it's one off of a repeater, and that would have been a really neat repeater, because if that started with a 4, not only is it a repeater, 4, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, it would also be a binary. So that would have been cool. I'm still happy that I got a trinary, 4s, 5s, and 7s on that one, and it's 6 of a kind. I got quads, quad 2s on this one, quad 4s on this one. And that was it for quads. Did find some stars. This one's okay. This one looks pretty nice as well. With your stars, make sure to check those stars to see if they're filled in. A friend of mine, Bill Stotts, Stotts, just put up a video showing some of the filled-in stars you can find. I'll see if I can't put a link to that video down below so you guys can check that out as well. I always talk about it. I never get to show it. He actually did a short video showing the ones that he has that are filled in. So you'll want to check that out. Let's see. Another star here, 2017. Starts with a couple zeros. Maybe it'll be rare. 2017 as well. Now we get to the 2013s. This one's seen some things. Another 2013 here. 2013 with a counter stamp. 2013 B star note, possibly worth $100,000. Yeah, I won't hold my breath, but I will check it just in case. And then this is a 2006. It's rough, but you don't encounter too many 2006 star notes. And I found another one. Once again, also really rough, but also a note that I don't find too often. Then I've got some of the older notes. I found a bunch of 99s. 99 here. This one's actually really bright, really good shape. This one's all right. A little bit of a crease there in the center. This one's pretty beat. And this one also is pretty beat. And then we get to the 95s. Now, on the 95s, don't forget you want to check the back to see if they've got that 129 serial number. The serial number, the plate number, instead of being over here, is going to be over on this side, and that'll bring a bunch of extra value. So you want to check that one out. It's 95. This one's 95 as well. Not in the greatest of shape. This one's much better, though. 95 there. Another 95 here. And 93s, you don't find a lot of 93s in circulation at all. They just weren't printed. There weren't a whole bunch of them out there. And you can see this one is pretty crisp. And the oldest note I found, also in decent shape, this one was from 1981. So yeah, that was a pretty good haul for 1,000 singles. So what did I bring up from my box this week? Let me get those out of the way. Well, I told you I was talking nationals. So I decided to bring out one of my nationals. This one you may have seen in some of my top 10 lists. I haven't highlighted this note in quite a long time, so some of you may never seen it. What this here is an 1882 $20 national. This is known as a brownback. This was the second charter as far as national currencies. The first charter for national currencies started in 1862, and that went for 20 years. So between 1862 and 1882, if you got a bank, if you've got a charter for your bank, you would have a 20-year charter starting in the year that you got the charter between 1862 and 1882, and that would be good for 20 years. This is an example of the second charter. If a bank had that first charter and renewed its charter, they would then get the second charter, and the second charter started, you can see right here, series of 1882. Now this particular note was not 1882. In fact, you can see right here, May 22nd, 1893. So this was well into the second charter period. And let me try to explain some of this stuff. First of all, let's just take a really cool look at this note here. You've got the Battle of Lexington right over here on this side, and that is Columbia over there. Battle of Lexington that's a pretty dramatic photo there. You can see it does say national currency. This note is secured by bonds of the United States deposited with the U.S. Treasurer at Washington. The National Bank of Decatur will pay $20 to the bearer on demand. Now, once again, a national banknote means that the Treasury basically went to the bank and said, are you soluble? Do you have enough funds to cover everything that you've got? And if you are, would you like to put money on deposit with the U.S. government? And we will then issue currency with your bank on it as you being the backer. So yeah, if everything checked out, the bank would be given a charter number. That's the 4920. You can see it's got 4920 all over this note. And the biggest part of the 4920 is right there. You'll notice all the ink on the back is done in brown, thus called the brownback. You don't usually see brown ink on notes. Now, I specified that this was from Decatur, Illinois. And the cool part is, like I said, first and foremost, the bank itself got its name on the note. Secondly, is the state. Now, why is that important? Well, let's take a peek at the back once again. This is clearly a U.S. note. So on one side, you've got the eagle representing the United States. And it's cool because in the background, you can see the flag. And if I just turn that just right, take a peek at that flag. Notice anything weird about it? Like the number of stars or the formation of the stars? It's just something you don't get to see on a regular basis. A flag with a different star pattern, other than the 13 stars that we normally see, or the 48 stars from World War II, or our current 50-star flag. Just to see the stars in a different configuration is really, really cool. All right, anyway, this side represents the U.S., and this side over here represents the particular state. And you can see this one here is Illinois. You can see right there on top, Illinois. And then it has the state motto and whatever logo that particular state wanted, whatever is on their flag. So even though this is a $20 brownback, there could have been 4,920 other different combinations as far as the bank goes. And each bank would have the U.S. on one side, but their particular state on the other. So that alone is one way to collect. So now let's talk about some of these numbers. The first thing, well, obviously 20 is the denomination. I already talked about this being the charter, 4920. Now, the next number you're going to see is right here, which is D669415D. And this is the actual serial number of the note. So this is how many that the Federal Reserve had printed at that particular time, okay? So that is your standard serial number. But there is one other number, and that number is right over here, which is 1183. And what that number refers to, that is the page number for this particular note. And I'm going to show you in the big book what that means. All right, we're going to get back to that in a second. First of all, let me take out this book, and we'll see what it goes for. I've got it right here. You can see it on top. That all looks familiar to you guys. And you can see it's pretty steady across the board. 575 in VG8, 675 for 12. You're looking at 950 for 20. That's probably about this one. I'd say it's pretty close to that 20 range. I mean, it's real nice. It could be 25. And then they go all the way up to $7,000 if you're talking gem uncirculated. Now, different states, you'll see down here, have different multipliers. You can see that they used fine as the example. Let me just move this here so I can get a better grip. Now, fine is F12. You can see these are all 675. So if you look per state, you know, like Alabama had 41 banks, and fine would be 675. So that's average. There's nothing spectacular about that. But look down to Arizona Territory had 7 banks. And in fine, those are worth $15,000 instead of $675. And you can see for each state, mine, Illinois, right there is 675. So that one's nothing special. But like I said, depending on where the note, usually the further west and the smaller the town, the more expensive the note. So those are kind of cool. Now, I did bring out my National Bank notebook, and I want to show you right here. 4920, National Bank of Decatur. The bank was chartered in 1893, which, according to my note, that's what it says. May 22nd, 1893. We got that. And then if I start looking here, you can see Brownback. There was a sheet that had 4 $5 notes on it, and those were numbered right here. 4 $5 notes numbered 1 through 11,300 for a total value of, or those are about $500 a piece. This book is old. This is just to give you some idea on the comparisons. Now, the next sheet that they talk about had 3 $10 notes and a $20 note, and they made 7,500 of those. So if I look at this one, 7,500 is the maximum note you're going to find here. This one is 1183, so that's on the lower end of the spectrum. So yeah, this was on a sheet that had, where is it, 3 10s and 1 20. So that just gives you an idea of how many were printed. That would be 5,000, or oh, that's not it. That's the date back. There's the brown back. There we go. 3 10s and a 20. They only made 7,500 of these notes. That's all that was ever printed. Okay. 7,500. So this is one of 7,500. Just wrap your brain around that one for a little while when you want to start talking about rare pennies where they only made 500,000 of them. Anyway, so that's the sheet number. 3 10s and 120 on this particular sheet. Now, as you read further down the chart, then there was the 1882 date back notes, and it tells you how many of those they made, and so on down the line. The next cool thing, though, is here on the bottom. The total issue. This bank put out $4,350,000 worth of notes, and of those notes, the ones that were returned, only 300,000 were not accounted for. Not 300,000 notes, $300,000 worth of notes. And of those $300,000 of unclaimed notes, large out, those are the large size notes, like mine, there's only 14,760 of those unaccounted for. This being one of them. So start doing math on that. This is a rare note. Nationals are rare, and that's how valuable of a book this particular item is when you can start looking into the what's remaining out there in circulation and trying to get an idea what it's worth. Now, I don't put a whole lot into the prices here because the prices, like I said, this book is outdated. Even the book I showed you had this at $675, or between $675 and $950, and even that book is about to be updated. But that's what I've got for you this week. This is, once again, the 1882 $20 brownback national currency from the Second Charter. Really cool note, really interesting history on these. If you guys learned anything new this week, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. I love reading all your comments, and I'll see you again next week.